Calling yourself a toddler, like when you get bored and you start playing with things. It's
Yeah. You want to tell our story?
yes.
Is this the one we're going to tell our grandkids?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be rude not to.
All right, so here we go. How the Tip Your Hat show got started. We had no idea how it was going to get started. In fact, we hadn't even met each other, and we met each other through a mutual friend. And Michelle had a podcast called Who's Your Mama? And I had a podcast called 3 Moments in Time. And somehow we were going to get together to maybe be a part of each other's podcast. Well, Michelle brought an associate with her on that call, and I hadn't met either of them. And we started talking about ideas, and somehow I was, if it wasn't going to be fun, I wasn't going to do it. And the ideas that were being pitched were like kind of mental health, ideas, a podcast about well-being or mental health. And my world in the past has been suicide prevention and crisis response. And I'm a therapist. And I thought, oh man, I don't need more of that. I'm jacked.
You're like, I
on
need
mental
more of
health.
something, but not that direction.
Well, I said, and one idea after another was being pitched, and it's like, oh man, that doesn't sound like fun. Oh, that one sounds so serious. And I said, if I'm not having fun, I ain't gonna do it. And then what happened? What did I do, Michelle?
Well, the ideas being pitched weren't anything to do with either 3 Moments in Time, your podcast, or Who's Your Mama, but we were having a meeting, and I'm just going to call it like it is because it'd be rude not to, is that you took you initiated a shift in the meeting.
Yeah, and here's why. Here's why. Wait, I'll tell you why. I was getting fucking bored, and I don't like when I'm getting bored. I get a little irreverent, and I kind of turn into a bit of a dick. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, it was like, I'm kind of done. I don't want to do
Your
this.
eyes said everything.
Well,
Your eyes did. So we were locking eyes like, okay, this is not what we imagined, but what's going to happen here? And then you did.
I don't even know what I imagined, but in my irreverent nature, what I did was I reached back, and for no reason whatsoever, other than me just sort of being a little dickish, I put on a cowboy hat.
You stopped saying dickish, like, it wasn't. You were just being who you
I'm
were,
not, I wasn't really proud of it. I just, when I got bored, I just wanted, well, let me do something else. So I put on this hat. I'll put it on briefly.
You're calling yourself a toddler, like when you get bored and you start playing with things. It's
yeah. It was like, okay.
I'm giving you lots of credit for how you did it. It was just like, hello, if you have half a mind and you're paying attention, I could tell, and you could tell that things were different. So what you did was...
Well, I stopped paying attention, and I leaned back, and I got this hat, and I put it on. And now,
oh, howdy, partner.
Now it got a little weird because I don't, you and your associate had no idea what I was doing, and I thought, well,
why do you keep saying that? Like, it had nothing at that point to do with anyone else besides you and I. I knew exactly what was happening. My response
and then
was mine.
What did you do upon seeing me put on a hat?
So I thought, this is fascinating. I'm getting way more than I bargained for in this, and I am up for the challenge. So what I did was I left the camera, and I just so happened where we were filming in different locations, I happened to have, which we share is a big love of hats, and I happened to have some that were easily to access. So then I put one on, which was...
All right, what one did you put on? Now,
Fedora.
meanwhile, nothing is being said. It's just sort of this silent little game that
True.
we played. So I took off this hat and I thought, well, let's see if we can play the game a little bit more. So then I put on this hat and I thought, well, let's see. You know, meanwhile the meeting is like, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. And this
I
other
think
poor
the next one that I think the next one that I put on, in full transparency, Jeff did have hats behind him. I did not, so I give credit where credit's due. I did find inspiration to have them hanging like pieces of art, but this is the second one that I put on afterwards. And then it became a hat off.
and then I took off this one
Got a hair on it.
and
A piece of hair.
I don't know. Then I don't even remember, but then I probably, I went,
I
okay,
don't
well,
remember my next one.
I don't either, but I knew it went on for a while. I put on this one, and then you put on another one, and
I
then
think we exchanged at least
well,
back and forth 5. Actually, I
I,
think there was a floppy hat. Okay.
I
Look
got
at
this,
our little reenact.
and then I just got out of control. And meanwhile, this other guy has no idea what we're doing, because the meeting was completely done at this point. And so
I love that hat.
I like this hat too. I don't even know how the meeting ended, but I do know, which was a huge part of this story, that that
Yeah.
you called me you called me James, and I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to embarrass her in the moment. I just I'll just go with James, and then the meeting came to an end, and I thought, well, that's it for that, So that blew up that meeting. We're not going to actually. We might
I don't
have
want to
done
play tit for tat.
we might have done each other's podcast, but as it turned out, we didn't. And then there was an email, and I think I emailed you, and I I very kindly said, I don't remember the exact words. I said, well, my name isn't James, it's Jeff, but I can understand why you could make the mistake Harriet. And of course, from that point on, what happened, Michelle?
I said, thank you for kindly, although I'm embarrassed, thank you for letting me know. So, quick little the Tip Your Hat Show PSA. Kindness, transparency, never the wrong choice. Can't fix things you don't know exist. So, as embarrassed as I was, and I could have made excuses as to why I made that Freudian slip, it really doesn't matter because you told me. And what we did with that was quickly establish that not only did we have a love of hats, but we had very similar humor. And what came from that was what originally we connected for was just an intro to what we were going to do. And we didn't even know. And we were like, all right, buckle
Well,
up. There's something here.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Well, let me jump in because at that point, the alter egos, James and Harriet, went out to play. And we were,
Yes.
listen, I have to understand, I had no idea who you were. And I just kind of goofed and said, hey, Harriet, get it right. And then we launched into this texting that probably went for, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes. And I played this role of this
No,
wimpy
it went for James.
Harriet,
Visit
but
your memory.
Harriet,
No,
I'm
no,
telling
no, no. It went for don't make me show proof like a good woman does. All right. It went for a
you.
solid
Oh,
hour and a half. I can tell you
okay.
where in the kitchen. Of course I was in the kitchen, where
Well,
I was when we were bantering.
I'm very grateful that what I think is a short amount of time is a much longer amount of time, really, because sometimes it's 3 minutes,
Because
but
I hang on every word of
it feels like
yours.
9 minutes, So, anyways, so and this is 6 inches. All right, so and so
Oh,
now like
you really went off on a tangent there. You were in your own head, pun intended. Or did I have to point that out? Darlin, you went down this rabbit hole. The bottom line is that we established these alter egos where we realized there were lots of different connections in there, and the Tip Your Hat show
Well,
was
it didn't
born.
start out right away the way it is now. We just bounced around a whole bunch of ideas as to how we would create a show, and what it would be about. And there were people who are passionate about hats, and there were people like all different kinds of hat companies. And so we bounced around and said, do we talk about, individual people? Do we talk about companies? And then it was like, oh, maybe we could rate hats, you know, and there's like nobody sort of will create a radio talk show and we'll be like a Howard Stern, Robin Quivers sort of thing, and we're gonna rate hats. And we live in different cities, so like, how are we going to do that? And what would be interesting? And you had an amazing idea. What we do, well, we talked about rating hats, but you said, hey, wait a second, why don't we mail each other a hat? And we won't know what's in it. We might know where it's coming from the company because there's a label on the outside, but we won't open it until the episode. And so thus was born the idea of rating hats with an interesting twist. And that was the twist. Let's do the twist. We weren't going to know. It was going to be like Christmas. We were going to open this box, and then we were going to rate them in a bunch of different categories. And the categories are, Michelle?
Is it you're getting older? You can't remember them? I got
Well,
you.
it's
I
a
got
given.
you, boo. I got you, babe. Okay, so and the categories are delivery time, packaging, quality, fit, value, and customer service, darling.
There you go. And what we do is we give them a 1 to 5 star rating, and at the end of the ratings, we come up with an overall rating. So there's a range. There'll be a range of hats, and by the time you're watching this, you probably may have seen one or two, and sometimes the hats they show up late, and the box is kind of crumpled, and inside it's not so great. There's no thank you card. There's nothing. It's in a sometimes in a plastic bag, sometimes not even that. And so the ratings drop as low as 2. But sometimes they show up with incredible packaging on the outside. The delivery time knocked it out. The quality, the fit, the value is off the chart, and the customer service is amazing. So those folks get closer to a 5. And we're buying the hats, so nobody's given us hats yet. If you want to give us some hats, let us know. Just we won't open it when the box arrives. So we have no vested interest, and it's kind of like we've modeled it after sort of Rotten Tomatoes and kind of Siskel and Ebert, because it was going to be the two of us doing this, but we were going to rate hats and like rating movies.
Are you okay?
Better than you were the day that you liked Starship Troopers.
Okay. Oh, no.
And what we came to understand is there's hundreds of different hat companies. There's dozens of different hat styles. And so we could just 2 hats a day or 2 hats an episode for years. So that's where we are. Michelle, wrap it up.
I think that's so cute that you're saying years. But there are maybe a few years difference between us. I was thinking decades, but I guess I'll take what I get for now. But Rotten Tomatoes is to movies that
we are to hats. And actually, here's a little bit of the original name was not Tip Your Hat. It was not the Tip Your Hat show. The
oh my gosh, you're gonna go there?
Well, I got to go there because we had a big fight over it. And if we can't fight over things and make up, what's the point of this relationship? So I stumbled across this expression that Frank Sinatra said. And he said, cock your hat, angles have attitudes. And I thought, cock your hat, this is going to be the greatest name ever. It's going to be so controversial. And I got blown out of the water. I tried to defend it for a while. Come on, it's, don't, I was pushing back, I want to have fun. I don't want anyone to tell me what to do. And you, as you do, made sense and said, yeah, I was like a toddler. I was like, I had a little tantrum.
How many times do we have to do this damn scene? No! I'll be in my trailer, taking a nap.
And but I calmed down and you made sense and said, well, maybe using the word cock isn't such a good idea. That might turn people off. And I submitted to your will, Harriet. Once again, I dropped to my knees and begged your forgiveness and said, okay, we're doing it your way. And we always do it your way. I mean, that's just how this relationship goes.
Yeah.
Happy work wife, happy work life. There you go.
Mm. I mean, if that was just the metaphor or realistic key to success in life, I we wouldn't even be here now.
Wait,
So maybe you should be thanking all the others that didn't subscribe to the easier road, less traveled. Nonetheless, you know darn well, darling, that is not true. But what is true is everything up into that, you do it my way. Besides that, it is our day every day, and I tip my hat to you.
very nice. So we'll be rating two hats every week forever, or as long as I live. And and that's it. We rate hats.
Amen. Can't stop the feeling.
Very nice.
Got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet.
I tip your hat to my dear, dear, dear friend and associate, Harriet/Michelle, living on the beach somewhere in Southern California. I'm living in the desert somewhere near Joshua
That's
Tree.
my rancher.
There you go. See you later, alligator. Bye bye.
See you later, alligator. Bye.